Okay, is the jail ready? I see that they're on. I'm not sure. Maybe they're getting together.
That's when y'all just like, that's when y'all just.
Jail ready?
Go ahead. All right, listen up.
Oh,
You gotta be quiet. Close the door. Close the door.
okay. You all are not ready?
Judge, you ready? You ready, Judge?
Oh, yes, we're ready.
Okay, okay. 1 second, Judge. We're gonna bring them all out so they can raise their hand.
All right, I need everybody to come out. Take your own left shirt, line up right here for me. Line, one line against the wall. One line.
Lift the store. Lift the store.
We ready to start?
We're ready to start. They're just ready.
I can tell you about that.
Everybody stand
Now,
up.
come on now, come on.
I got him.
They're on 29.
I got him.
On 29.
They usually have
The book 29 or 29. Yeah.
the face this way.
Yeah. So that they can come in close up. Just go and talk to them. Swear them. What about the female?
You done?
All right, grab.
You guys gonna be here?
You gotta get.
No. They're just gonna swear your feet.
You guys will be closer to the stand. Okay. Now, come on, ladies.
I got him. Come on, man. Judge, I need everybody to please go out. Judge, thank you, okay? Ladies, turn your faces to it. Come in. See that monitor right there? Come here. No, come around. Come on.
You will stand with the females, okay?
There you go.
Come on.
You want to face it? I'll stand with the females on.
Get in front of her. In front of her, please. In front of her.
All right.
Go all the way down.
All right, I'll turn around. All right, Judge, we're ready.
Bring y'all in.
Okay, can you confirm that everyone all the way in the back can hear me?
Hey, you are here? Nothing, stop.
Deputy Stowe, bring some of them where you're standing. Yeah, bring them closer.
Judge, can you speak again, please? I just turned it up some.
Not directly behind.
Okay, confirm that everyone can hear me all the way in the back and all the way to the front.
Yes, Judge, they can hear.
All right, if you all will raise your right hand for me. Do you swear and affirm that the information you're about to give is the truth to the best of your ability? Person in the front and the hand's not raised. If you'll raise your right hand for me.
She's 24, Judge, she's 24.
Okay. All right, if you all affirm that, you can lower your hand if there is anyone that to that, keep your hand raised. Okay, I'm going to read some information to you all. This is your first appearance before the Magistrate Court of Clayton County. We are not here to try your case or to take a plea today. You are here for the court to inform you of your charges, to advise you of certain rights, set a bail on those offenses for which this court is authorized to schedule a preliminary hearing, and to determine whether you require assistance of an attorney. You have the right to remain silent and say nothing, but should you give up this right, anything you say during this proceeding may be used against you if this case goes to trial. During this proceeding and all other proceedings, you have the right to the presumption of innocence until the state proves beyond a reasonable doubt your guilt. You have the right to an indictment by grand jury for most felonies or by accusation for misdemeanors. You have the right to a speedy and public trial by jury. You have the right to see, hear, and cross-examine witnesses who are called against you. the right to compel the attendance of witnesses on your by subpoena. You have the right to testify and offer evidence in your own defense should you choose to do so. But should you choose not to do so, no presumption of guilt may be raised. You have the right to have an attorney represent you in all phases of your matter. At this point, we are going to appoint an attorney to represent you. Should you choose to have a private attorney assist you, please have them file an entry of appearance with the court, and then the court-appointed attorney will no longer represent you. Some of you will be allowed to post unrestricted bond for your release from jail pending the prosecution of your case, which may be cash, commercial, or property. If you post a cash bond, someone will deliver the full amount of the bond in cash together with applicable mandated fees to the sheriff's office, who will hold it until your final court date, at which time the cash bond will be returned to the person who posted it. If you use a commercial bonding company approved by the sheriff, someone will have to pay the company somewhere between 15 to 18% of the total bond as their fee for their services. This fee will not be returned to you. Someone may post a bond using their property if they have net equity in property in an amount equal to 3 times the total amount of your bond. Some of you will have special conditions on your bond that prohibit you from contacting certain people or going to or around certain places. These special conditions will be provided to you on a separate form. You will also be prohibited from calling or having other contact with the victim while you are in jail. Should you violate the court's order, the bond will be revoked and you will not be entitled to another bond while awaiting trial. An additional charge of aggravated stalking, influencing witness, or other charges as the law may provide could be brought against you, for which you could be sentenced up to 10 years in prison and fined up to $20,000. For family members who will assist in you posting bond, they will be provided information of your bond amount after we have concluded first appearance. If a family member is a victim on the warrant or there are special conditions that you are to have no contact with that family member, he or she will not be allowed to post bond. You will have to make other arrangements. Some of you are charged with offenses for which this court is not authorized by law to jail. In this event, bond hearing will be scheduled before a superior court judge and you will be informed of your court date. If you are currently on active probation, this is not authorized to set a bond. Your bond can be reconsidered after your probation officer has an opportunity to determine if they wish to file a warrant for violation of their probation or your probation. Usually during a preliminary hearing is when that'll take place. Now, the purpose of a preliminary hearing is to determine if there is enough evidence or probable cause to justify keeping you detained until such time as your case goes to trial. For those of you charged with a misdemeanor only, you will have the option of waiving your preliminary hearing. Waiving your hearing will not affect your right to post. You have the right to have an attorney represent you if you qualify for one, or your right to a jury trial. If you post bond, your preliminary hearing is automatically waived and you will be mailed notice when to appear in state court for arraignment. Make bond, you may waive your preliminary hearing and be taken before a state court judge, at which time, if you plead guilty, you'll be sentenced. If you plead not guilty, you'll be scheduled a trial date. If you choose to have a misdemeanor preliminary hearing, the hearing will be scheduled for
That's from my aunt.
Hold on. Can't hear you.
which,
Okay.
stop hearing me.
It's coming, yeah.
Yeah, it's
It's coming
coming
back in now, Judge.
Okay, what part did you last hear?
If you reschedule your preliminary hearing, she said that she's gonna schedule it for something in April.
So that court date for the preliminary hearing, from that point, the court date is on.
Thank you. Misdemeanors, the preliminary hearing date is going to be June the 1st, 8:30 a.m. in courtroom 201. And for felony matters, it'll either be scheduled for May the 26th or May the 28th, 8 a.m. in courtroom 3. Okay, I'm now going to call you up one by one when you hear your name. Do you all want me to handle the females first?
Yeah, let's do the female first, Judge. There are just 9 of them.
Okay, I'll call you up one by one when you hear your name. If you step up to the podium for me.
Yeah, y'all come on.
Delphine Bennett. After Ms. Bennett will be Mary Breen.
Bennett
Come on,
is,
Breen.
was just one person located,
Come on,
Judge.
females, come on.
Bennett is just one for another agency. Bennett is one for another agency, Judge.
Oh, okay, so she's not coming.
No, she's not for us.
This is Breen.
Oh, okay, all right, thank you. All right, Breen, Mary Breen, and after Ms. Breen will be Hightower. And you're Mary Breen?
Yes.
All right, Ms. Breen, do you know what you're charged with?
I do.
All right, and do you waive the formal reading of your charges?
Yes.
All right, so you are charged with unlawful removal of baggage or cargo. Your bond is $5,000. You're ordered not to violate any laws if you post bond. Do you think you'll be able to post bond?
I'm not certain, Your Honor.
Your court date is going to be set for May the 26th at 8 a.m. in courtroom 2-3, and you may return with the deputy. Ms. Hightower is going to be Kayana Reed.
Read and next. Get a read up.
All right, you're Ashley Hightower.
Yes, ma'am, I am.
All right, Ms. Hightower, do you know why you're in custody, ma'am?
I do.
And do you waive the formal reading of your charges, or do you want me to read them out?
You can read them.
It is said that on or about April the 16th, you were operating a black and color 2019 Dodge Charger with Virginia tags. Said that you advised that your name was Monique Crockett, date of birth 5/29/89, and your actual name is Ashley Hightower.
Yes.
All right, and this was done at a safety checkpoint.
Yes, ma'am.
We did dismiss the driving on a suspended license at this time. That does not mean that the state will not bring that charge back at a later date. That's to the giving the false name, address, or date of birth. That bond is $1,500, and you're ordered not to violate any laws if you post bond. Do you think you'll be able to post bond?
Yes, ma'am. Can I pay that whole bond through the jail so I don't have to go through a bonding company?
You may.
Okay,
There are surcharges added, but you can speak with them about that.
okay.
Do you waive your preliminary hearing, or would you like to have it?
Can you ask me that again? You went out.
Now, come on.
Do you waive your preliminary hearing, or would you like to have it?
You can waive it.
All right, stand by to sign your waivers, your waiver.
Just print your name and sign it under.
Okay.
All right, after Ms. Reed is going to be Mary Anton.
Say print.
I'm sorry, I'm really just ready to go. No, we having a court. We have to shut the door, it's gonna get hot in there, so I mean, just be quiet, okay?
Okay, all right, step back.
This one?
And you're Kayana Reed.
Yes, sir.
Ms. Reed, you know what you're charged with?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you want your charges read out loud, or do you waive the formal reading of your charges?
Hey, they got going forward.
Okay, it is said that on April the 16th, you were in possession of marijuana located in the middle console of your 2015 Nissan Sentra, and less than an ounce. It's approximately 3 grams. You are charged with possession of marijuana less than an ounce, and we've given you an OR bond. You're ordered not to violate any laws. Bond, ma'am. Do you waive your preliminary hearing, or would you like to have it? Well, I'm sorry, it's the OR, so it's automatically waived. So you may return with the deputy.
All right, come on.
Come on.
All right.
You got the check, get ready, right?
All right, after Ms. Anton is Davari Boykins, and you're Mary Anton.
Yes.
You know what you're charged with?
Can you read the charges?
All right, it says that on April the 18th, you did grab the laptop, Anton, and throw it at him for the laptop was damaged during the incident. And you all continue to engage in a verbal dispute. The laptop is approximately worth $250 together, and you are married. You're charged with criminal trespassing. Your bond is $3,500. You're ordered to stay away from G. Anton, not to return to 5984 Rex Ridge Court in Rex, Georgia. If you have any of your belongings at that address, you are to make arrangements with the sheriff to pick it up. And you're not to violate if you post bond. You'll be able to post bond.
Yes.
Do you waive your preliminary hearing, or would you like to have it?
I'll waive it.
All right, stand by to sign your waiver.
Your name up and sign it at the bottom, print, and then sign.
After Ms. Boykins is Savisha Floyd. And you're Davari Boykins.
Yes.
Ma'am,
Yes.
do you know what you're charged with?
Yes.
Do you waive the formal reading of your charges, or do you want them read aloud?
You can read them.
It is said that on or about January the 4th of this year, you did intentionally make a physical contact of an insulting or provoking nature with Sammy Johnson by punching the victim in his left eye with a closed fist. Before leaving the incident location, no bruising was observed on the victim. However, it was witnessed by Vanessa Griffin. For that, you are charged with simple battery. It is also said on the same day that you did intentionally strike your husband, Marquel Walker, in the face with his hand, causing superficial injury above the left eye. This was also witnessed by Ms. Vanessa Griffin. For that, you're charged with family violence battery. Your total bond is $9,500. You're ordered to stay away from Marquel Walker and Sammy Johnson, not to return to 8609 Thomas Lane in Riverdale, Georgia. If you have any of your belongings at that address, you are to make arrangements with the sheriff to pick it up, and you're not to violate any laws if you post. Do you think you'll be able to post bond?
Yes. Property bond?
Ma'am?
Property bond?
Any one of the three that I mentioned. I'm not sure which one you'll be eligible for, but any one of the three.
No.
And do you waive your preliminary hearing, or would you like to have it?
I'd like to have it.
That's going to be June the 1st, 30 a.m. in courtroom 201. You may return with the deputy. All right, and after Ms. Floyd is Kristen Hudson, and your Savisha Floyd.
Yes, ma'am.
You know what you're charged with?
Yes.
Do you waive the formal reading of your charges, ma'am?
You can read them.
Or would you like them read out loud?
You can read them.
It is said that on April the 17th, you did cause physical harm to Danny Floyd without fist, causing visible marks with bleeding, that you also damaged a picture frame of the victim by throwing the frame to the ground, causing it to glass to shatter. Estimated damage to that frame is less than $500. It says that there is camera footage of the incident. It further states that the incident took place in the presence of 3 minors, Dana Floyd, Benicia Floyd, and Danny Jr. Floyd, as well as Camille Floyd. So that's 4. Says that you both are married and live together. You're charged with battery, criminal trespassing, and 4 counts of cruelty to children in the 3rd degree. Your total bond is $18,500. Order to stay Danny Floyd, Dana Floyd, Benicia Floyd Jr., and Camille Floyd, not to 202 Falcon Crest Trail in Jonesboro, Georgia. You have any of your belongings at that address. You are to make arrangements with the sheriff to pick it up, and you're not to violate any laws if you post bond. Ma'am, do you think you'll be able to post bond?
I'm not sure.
And do you waive your preliminary hearing, or would you like to have it?
I don't know, I would like to have it.
All right, that's going to be set for June the 1st, 8:30 a.m. in courtroom 201. You may return with the deputy. After Ms. Hudson is Joanne Roos, and you're Kristen Hudson.
That's a 24, Judge.
Yes, Judge, she said yeah, she just said hello.
Okay, Ms. Hudson, do you know what you're charged with? All right, it is said that on April the 17th, by using a closed fist, you did strike the upstairs wall several times, causing holes and damage to the wall. And this is the property of a William Felder, who's the homeowner. The damage was under $500, so you are charged with trespassing. Bond is $3,500. You're away from William Felder and not to return to 3839 Tenton Pass in Ellenwood, Georgia. If you have any of your belongings at that address, you do need to make arrangements with the sheriff to pick it up, ma'am. Do you think you'll be able to post bond?
How much is it?
3,500. Speak up.
No, ma'am.
And do you waive your preliminary hearing, or would you like to have it?
I have to have it, right?
All right, that's going to be set for June the 1st, 8:30 a.m. in courtroom 201. And you may return with the deputy. Thank you.
Come on.
Come on.
Come on. Go ahead.
After Ms. Roos is going to be Rashad Armstrong. And you're Joanne Roos.
Ma'am,
All right, do you know what you're charged with, ma'am?
can you read it to me, ma'am, please?
It says that on or about April the 17th, you did cause a scene at 6231 Highway 85 at the leasing office, where they advised you, because you threw items in the walkway, yelling and cursing, that you needed to leave the property. You were asked to leave the property, but then you were found back at the property. And so you are currently charged with criminal trespassing. That bond is $2,000, and you're ordered not to return to 6231 Highway 85 in Clayton County, Georgia. And you're not to violate any laws if you post bond. Do you think you'll be able to post bond?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you waive your preliminary hearing, or would you like to have it?
I will.
Stand by to sign your waiver.
Name for this sign. Hey, Judge, do you have a Ruffin, female Ruffin? That's the last female.
I do not.
You don't have enough for Ruffin? Okay.
No.
All right, Ruffin. Sign at the bottom.
Hold on. Let me not put it as a male by accident. Hold on. Johnny May?
Yes.
Ma'am,
I apologize. I do. 1 second.
I get that a lot.
Okay, Ms. Ruffin, do you know what you're charged with?
Yes, ma'am.
Would you, do you waive the reading of your charges, the formal reading, or you want it to be read?
I know what they are.
She say wait.
All right, you are charged with deposit account fraud. Your bond is $8,000 and you're ordered not to violate any laws if you post bond. Do you think you'll be able to post bond?
Yes, ma'am.
Your court date is set for May 6th at in room 203. And you may return with the deputy.
Go to court.
Okay, come on.
Go back to sign my waiver,
Go ahead.
No, you didn't have a waiver. He's a felon.
so I can get a bond done?
Yeah, you gotta.
Okay. So I
Okay.
Okay. Rayshawn Armstrong, after Mr. Armstrong is Marlo Campbell.
One more time.
What's the name after Armstrong?
Campbell, Marlo Campbell.
Armstrong, let's go to the podium. Campbell, you next.
All right, and you're Rayshard Armstrong.
Yes, ma'am.
Sir, do you know what you're charged with?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you waive the formal reading of your charge, or you need your charges read?
I want you to read it to me, ma'am.
All right, it said that on 16th, you were involved in a crash on Forest Parkway, with the Forest Park Police Department. You failed to yield. You stated that the Forest Park, police, to them that you were in possession of marijuana in your vehicle. Your vehicle was searched and a book bag containing more than an ounce, 2.1 ounce was located in that book bag. You are charged with failing to yield in violation of Georgia Controlled Substance Act. That's possession of the marijuana. Your bond is $7,500. You're ordered not to violate any laws if you post bond. Do you think you'll be able to post bond?
Yes, ma'am.
Your court date is set for May the 26th at 8 a.m. in courtroom 203, and you may return with the deputy. All right, after is Ron Perez Childs,
Charles next. Charles next.
and you're Marlo Campbell.
Marlo Campbell.
Can't hear you, Judge.
Do you know what you're charged with, sir?
I think criminal trespassing at CVS.
Do you waive the formal reading of your charges?
No, I don't waive it. I like to hear it.
All right, it said that on April the 16th, you remained upon the property of CVS after receiving notice to leave. Deshaun Bailey, who is the manager and law enforcement officer. You're charged with criminal trespassing. Your bond is $2,000 and you're ordered not to return to the CVS at 22 Upper Road in Riverdale, Georgia. You're further ordered not to violate any laws if you post bond. Do you think you'll be able to post bond?
I mean, I'm homeless.
So you don't want to hear it, you can tell them you wait, so you ain't got to hear your choice.
All right, we'll give you an OR bond, sir. You may return with the deputy.
Man, what's the OR bond?
You got sign. Huh? You're gonna sign, wouldn't it?
What's the OR bond?
Tell me to get out of your time.
Who's after him?
I get out on what?
So Mr. Childs is Wilbur Davis.
Davis. Wilbur Davis.
What's your first name, sir?
Charles.
I can hear you.
Charles?
Hey.
Your last name is Childs.
No. First name Charles, last name Mack.
I need Charles. Charles.
Charles.
Go ahead, go ahead.
Charles, come on. Charles, go to the podium.
I'm trying, Ron Perez.
Yes, ma'am.
Is that you?
Yes, ma'am. Ron Perez Charles.
Sir, do you know what you're charged with?
Criminal trespass.
Do you waive the formal reading of your charge?
Sure.
All right, you're charged with criminal trespassing. The bond is $2,000. You're ordered not to return to the Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport unless you have a ticket to fly, sir. You're further ordered not to violate any laws if you post bond. Do you think you'll be able to post bond?
No, ma'am. Could I have an OR, please? Because I'm on my own.
No, this based on your history, sir. Do you waive your preliminary hearing, or would you like to have it?
Yeah, I would like to have it, because I don't.
All right, that's going to be set for June the 1st, 8:30 a.m. in courtroom 201. You may return with the deputy. After Mr. Davis is Justin Edge. And you're Wilbur Davis.
Yes, ma'am.
Justin Edge.
Sir, do you know what you're charged with?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you waive the formal reading of your charges, or you want it read?
You can read them out.
All right, it said that on March the 7th of this year, that you did have possession of a firearm, being a convicted felon, knowingly, intentionally, and unlawfully in possession of that firearm, as you were convicted of robbery on January 31st, 2011, aggravated assault on March the 5th of 2019. So you're charged with possession of a firearm by convicted felon. You do not have a bond at this time. You're ordered not to violate any laws if you post bond in the future. Your court date is set for May the 26th, 8 a.m. in courtroom 203. And you may return with the deputy.
So put the mask around your face.
I'll turn that when I went on that side.
Thank you. Appreciate
All right, after Mr. Edge is Justin Clayton, and you're Justin Edge.
Yes, ma'am.
Justin Lincoln. Lincoln. Who's Justin Lincoln?
Sir, do you know what you're charged with?
No, ma'am. Come on.
All right, it said that on April the 16th, you committed the offense of violation of Georgia Controlled Substance Act, that is possession of methamphetamine, also possession of a firearm during a commission of a crime, that is the possession of the methamphetamine. Your possession approximately 158.77 grams of the methamphetamine and approximately 1.85 grams of the marijuana, which was individually bagged with a digital scale. And you also had a loaded Ruger LC380. You were further, so for those charged with possession of methamphetamine, possession of less than an ounce, and possession of firearm by a convicted felon, then it is also said that on April the 8th of this year, that you did intentionally cause substantial physical harm and visible bodily harm to Lindsay Garrett by pushing and slapping the victim in her. She sustained visible bruising and scratches to the left side of her left eye. For that, you're charged with battery. Further said that you, without the consent of Lindsay Garrett, you did damage her glasses when you slapped her. Apparently they broke. So for that, you're charged with criminal trespassing. You do not have a bond time. You're ordered to stay away from Lindsay Garrett, not to return to 1512 Cardinal Road in Jonesboro, Georgia. If you have any of your belongings at that address, you are to make arrangements with the sheriff to pick it up, and you're not to violate any laws if you post bond in the future. Your court date is set for 20 at 8 a.m.
Say, hey, Judge, it broke up. You stopped. Say the court date again, please.
May the 26th at 8 a.m. in courtroom 203. And you may return with the deputy. All right, after Mr. Gleaton is Devin Morris, and you're Justin Gleaton.
Yes, ma'am.
Sir, do you know what you're charged with?
I do, and I'd like to waive the reading of my charges.
You said,
I do, and I would like to waive the reading of my charges, please.
All right, you do not have a bond at this time. You're ordered to stay away from Serenity Stevens, not to return to 8065 Augusta Court in Jonesboro, Georgia. And you're not at any post bond in the future. Your court date is set for May the 28th at 8 a.m. in courtroom 203.
Thank you.
You can return with the deputy. After Mr. Morris is Joshua Slacum.
Joshua Slater.
Mr. Morris,
Welcome.
are you Divine Morris?
Joshua,
Yes, ma'am.
welcome. Joshua.
Sir, do you know what you're charged with?
No, ma'am. I don't know like all the charges. You can, one thing, please.
It is said that on April the 16th, you intentionally caused substantial physical harm and visible bodily harm to Quinyon Williams by way of striking Miss Williams in the face with a closed fist on the right side of her face, causing swelling and blackening of the right eye with visible blood coming from her eye. It's also said that you committed the offense of criminal trespassing when you intentionally damaged Miss Williams' property. It is 2 cell phones by way of cracking the screens. The estimated value is $100 of each. And it looks like it says that you also snatched a gold chain from Miss Williams' neck, causing it to break. That is an estimated charge of $1,000 without her consent. You are charged with family violence, battery, and criminal trespassing in the 2nd degree. Your bond is $12,000. You're ordered to stay away from Quinyon Williams, not to return to 8240 Terra Boulevard in Jonesboro, Georgia, not to violate any laws if you post bond. You think you'll be able to post bond?
Sure, if I make a couple phone calls.
Your court date is set for May the 26th at 8 a.m. in courtroom 203. Maybe the deputy. After Mr. Slocum is Shane Smith. And you're Joshua Slacum.
Yes.
Do you know what you're charged with, sir?
Yes.
Do you waive the reading of your charges, or do you want them read?
Can I have them read?
It is said that on April the 16th, committed the offense of reckless conduct by endangering 4
Judge, you're cutting out.
Yeah, the internet.
guarding
Yeah, the internet.
Judge,
by can you hear me?
you said by endangering and you cut out.
Thank you. Let's see. It is said that you committed the offense of reckless conduct and cruelty to children 2nd degree by endangering Kingston Ford with bodily harm by consciously disregarding a substantial and unjustifiable risk of his firearm, which was a Glock 26, black in color. Said that you placed the firearm on a bed or on the bed incident location, which was left out. Kingston, a minor, was standing next to the firearm that was on the bed, causing Kingston to receive a gunshot wound to his person. You're charged with reckless conduct and, like I said, cruelty to children in the 2nd degree. Your bond is $18. You're ordered to stay away from Kingston Ford.
1,000.
You're ordered to stay away from Kingston Ford and not to violate any laws if you post bond. Your is set for May the 26th.
May 25th?
26 at 8 a.m. in 203. Sir, do you think you'll be able to post bond?
Yes.
All right, you may return with the deputy. After Mr. Sonia Whitehead, you're Shane Smith.
Yes, ma'am. How you doing?
Sir, do you
Yeah.
It's
know
cutting
what
out.
you're charged with?
I think it's,
Do you know what you're,
I think it's battery and obstruction.
yes, sir. Do you waive the formal reading of your charges?
The formal read, I would like to hear them, man. The reading of it, but I would waive my prelim, because you understand what I'm saying?
Hold on, it's frozen. It's frozen, Judge.
Yeah, you keep that, dog, raising and all that. What's going on?
What you should mean, waive the reading?
Hold on, she's gonna talk. She's gonna come back on here. You either wanna hear him or you don't wanna. If she says waive it, that means you don't wanna hear her read.
Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, ma'am. No, not now, no. Keep freezing.
It's frozen, Judge.
That internet.
We can see you now. It's moving.
It's moving a little bit.
Can you hear us, Judge?
Okay, can you hear me now? Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
All right. All right, I'm sorry, Mr. Smith. Did you say you want to hear the reading or you waive it?
I want to hear it, man.
Okay, it said that on April the 16th, that you did hinder law enforcement when you were asked if the victim, Alexandria Corn, was inside of the residence. You said no. We broke up a few days ago upon checking the residence with permission of Lavetta Smith. The victim was located in the bedroom closet with visible bruises on her left eye, both biceps, chest, right shoulder, and back. The victim sent testimony and pictures of her injuries. The offender. You're charged with obstruction of an officer and battery. You do not bond at this. You're ordered to stay away from Alexandria, not to return to 235 County Club Drive in Georgia. If you have any of your belongings at that address, you are to make arrangements with the laws if you post bond in the future. You waive your preliminary hearing, or would you like to have it?
I waived my prelim, man. And ma'am, you
Stand
said
by this.
on my bond, ma'am? They cut off, I couldn't hear you.
Hold on. Hey, just go, yes, I stand away from it. Print his name and sign.
You do not.
Huh?
Did you hear me, sir?
No, I didn't.
Say you do not have a bond. It looks like you're on probation out of Clayton County, 5-year probation. So you do not have a bond.
Did he waive, Judge?
Yes.
He did.
Okay, you got to sign.
Bring your name up there and sign.
Okay, I got it.
You got a print it thing.
Make sure they're printing and signing.
I got it.
Thank
Do I have to wait till when to get a bond or anything?
Go ahead, go ahead.
you. Speak with your court-appointed attorney, okay?
All right, thank you.
Okay. If you
Thank you, sir.
she can.
After Mr. Whitehead is Roy Willis. Sir, you're Antonio Whitehead.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you know what you're charged with?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you waive the formal reading of your charges? Or do you waive the formal reading of your charges, or do you want them read aloud?
I waive them.
All right, you're charged with possession of marijuana, more than an ounce, and possession of a weapon during the commission of a crime. We've dismissed the possession with intent to distribute at this time, but that does not mean that the state cannot bring that at a later date. Your bond is $18,000 and you're ordered not to violate any law post bond. Do you think you'll be able to post bond?
You said 18,000?
Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So yes or no?
Your court date,
So no?
Not sure, tell her.
I'm not sure, ma'am.
okay, your court date is set for May the 26th at 8 a.m.
Hey, the 26th.
in courtroom 203. Yes, sir. And you may return with the deputy.
Okay, come on, sign this waiver.
All right, after Mr. Willis is Rakimbert Wilson. Thank you, Roy Willis.
Yes.
Wilson?
You know what you're charged with, sir?
You can read them, ma'am.
All right, it is said that on April the 16th, you did hit the victim, Lee Mabry, with his mother's vehicle, a 2006 Mercedes Benz.
You said with whose vehicle?
His mother's vehicle. It says that you use the vehicle in a manner that would cause deadly bodily harm. You struck Mabry because he was out of the vehicle, although Mabry was outside the vehicle and running down Conley Road.
She said the last part.
Judge, that broke up on the last part that you said.
That the offender struck Mabry because he would not get out of his vehicle, although Mabry was outside the vehicle and running down Conley Road. And then the incident took place in front of a witness's front yard. You're charged with aggravated assault with a motor vehicle. You do not have a bond at this time. You're ordered to stay away from Lee Mabry and not to violate any laws if you post bond in the future. The court date is set for May the 26th at 8 a.m. in courtroom 203. You may return with the deputy.
Don't have a bond, Judge?
No.
You do not have a bond. After Mr. Wilson will be Demetrius Allen.
Demetrius Allen.
All right, and you're Rakimbert Wilson.
Yes, ma'am.
Sir, do you know what you're charged with? You said
Yes, ma'am.
waive the reading of your charge, the formal reading of your charge.
You can.
I can't hear you, sir.
So when I,
Do you waive the formal reading of your charge?
yes.
All right, you're charged with violation of Georgia Controlled Substance Act, that is possession of ecstasy, trafficking in ecstasy, 3 counts of possession of a weapon during the commission of a crime, and driving on a suspended license. You do not have a bond at this time. You're ordered not to violate any laws if you post bond. Yes, sir?
You said driving on a suspended license?
I'm sorry, registration.
And you said no bond?
You do not have a bond at this time. Your court date is set for May the 28th at 8 a.m. in courtroom 203. And you may return with the deputy.
Come on up, sir.
All right, after Mr. Allen is Nicholas Barham. And you're Demarcus Allen. Do you know what you're charged with, sir?
No, ma'am. I see I had 2 charges. I know one of the charges.
All right, it looks like you're charged with 2 counts of possession of marijuana. It said that on November the 1st, 2018, you did purchase a controlled substance, cocaine, approximately valued at $20. And it was found on your person in your left jacket pocket.
And can I say one thing?
No, this is not a trial. Listen.
All right, so that's 2 counts of possession of cocaine. Your bond is $8,000. You're ordered not to violate any laws if you post bond. Do you think you'll be able to post bond?
Yes, ma'am.
Your court date is set for May the 26th, 8 a.m. in courtroom 202. You may return with the deputy.
And now let's go.
Nicholas, go
After Mr. Barham is Xavier Bivens, and you're Nicholas Barham.
Yes, ma'am.
Really?
All right, you're charged with, sir?
Ma'am?
Do you know what you're charged with?
Yes.
Do you waive the formal reading of your charges?
Yes.
All right, you're charged with public drunk. You do have an OR bond. You're ordered not to violate any laws while on bond. You can return with the deputy, sir. You're welcome. All right, after Mr. Bivens is Quantez Caldwell, and you're Xavier Bivens.
On today's call.
Yes.
You know what you're charged with, sir?
No, ma'am.
All right, it is said that on March the 18th, that you did knowingly, willfully, and without consent arrive to the residence of Sabrina McNeil with the purpose of harassing, intimidating her, that you had a protective order signed by Judge George on March the 4th, not to come within 100 feet of the victim, and you are said to be in violation of the Family Violence Ex Parte Protective Order. The offender was witnessed at the residence by Travell Anderson and Paris Johnson. For that, you're charged with aggravated stalking. It is said that on March the 18th, that you did knowingly and willfully threaten to commit a crime of violence to the person of Sabrina with the purpose of terrorizing said person by threatening to beat her ASS if she did not open the house door. The threat was made in the presence of a Travell Anderson and Paris Johnson. For that, you're charged with terroristic threats. On that same day, it is said that you damaged the property of Sabrina McNeil without her consent, the damage being $500 or less. After Ms. McNeil refused to open her home door, it said that you forced entry into the home by striking it, and it damaged the door's locking mechanism. For that, you're charged with criminal trespassing. It is also said that on that same day, you did commit the offense of simple assault by committing an act which placed the person of another in fear of receiving a violent injury. Said that after Ms. McNeil refused to let you into the home, you made threats to physically harm her, forced your way into the home, and approached Ms. McNeil as if you were going to strike her. So for that, you charged assault. And then it's on the same day, no, excuse me, and then March the 23rd, it said that you did.
Judge.
She'll come back, she'll come back. It does the internet.
She needs to know that she's not getting heard, that she can stop talking. Judge!
She'll come back. Internet behaves that way. She'll repeat it.
Last year she said it was then on another day.
Uh-huh.
That's all we heard.
No,
She
no,
went
she's
up like, I said all this.
I'm so sorry.
All right.
What was the last charge you heard, sir?
Simple assault.
Say it again.
It was the simple assault.
Oh, good, okay. Okay, did you hear the reading of the simple assault, sir?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. All right, and then you're charged with family violence battery. It says that on March the 23rd, that you did strike Miss McNeil with your fist and causing visible cuts and bruises. It said that you further choked her with both hands. You both were formerly in a relationship and lived together, so you're charged for that with family violence battery. Then it says that On the 23rd of March, you did take the property, a Walther P22 handgun, the property of Ms. McNeil, valued at $1,500 or less, with the intent to deprive said owner of the property. For that, you're charged with theft by taking. And then on the 23rd, you once again went to the home. It said that you did place Ms. McNeil under surveillance in violation of the protective order that was previously issued. For that, you're charged with the second count of aggravated stalking. So, Mr. Bivens, you do not have a bond at this time. You're ordered once again to stay away from Sabrina McNeil, not to return to 777 Hunter Ridge Drive in Jonesboro, Georgia. And you're not violating any laws if you post bond in the future. Your court date is set for May the 26th at 8 a.m. in courtroom 203. And you may return with the deputy. All right, after Mr. Caldwell is Eugene Ferguson, and you're Cortez Caldwell.
Yes, ma'am. Take Eugene.
All right, Mr. Caldwell, do you know what you're charged with?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you waive the formal reading?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you're charged with simple battery, family violence, and criminal trespassing. Your bond is $8,000. You're ordered to stay away from Shantisha Holloway, not to return to 4233 Jonesboro Road in Forest Park, Georgia. If you have any of your belongings at that address, you are to make arrangements with the sheriff to pick it up, and you're not to violate any laws if you post bond. Do you think you'll be able to post bond?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you waive your preliminary hearing, or would you like to have it? All right, stand by to sign your waiver. All right, after Mr. Ferguson is Tyrese Hardy.
Ma'am.
And you're Eugene Ferguson?
Yes, ma'am.
Hardy.
All right, Mr. Ferguson, do you know what you're charged with?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you waive the formal reading of your charges?
Yes.
All right, you're charged with improper lane change, improper U-turn, 3 counts of failing to stop at a stop sign, red light violation, fast for conditions, driving without a license, improper passing, following too closely, reckless driving, obstructing an officer, driving on the wrong side of the road, hit and run, striking a fixed object, seatbelt violation, felony fleeing from police and possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. You do not have a bond at this time. And you're ordered not to violate any laws if you post bond in the future. Your court date is set for May the 26th at 8 a.m. in courtroom 203. And you may return with the deputy.
Come on, right over here. Come on.
After Mr. Hardy is Jamel Harvey. And you're Tyrese Hardy.
Yes, ma'am.
Sir, do you know what you're charged with?
Yes, I do.
Do you waive the formal reading?
Do not.
All right. It is said that on April the 17th, you did commit the offense of criminal trespassing when you intentionally damaged the property of another without their consent. The damage was less than $500. It is said that you did throw a rock to break a window and damage a screen at 1121 North Parkwood Drive in Forest Park, Georgia, and that you did have in your possession marijuana less than an ounce in your right front pocket. You're charged with criminal trespassing and possession of marijuana less than an ounce. Your bond is $5,000 and you're ordered not to return to the 1121 North Parkwood Drive in Forest Park, Georgia. You're further ordered not to violate any laws if you post bond. Do you think you'll be able to post bond?
No, I will not.
Do you waive your preliminary hearing or would you like to have it?
I would like to have it.
That's going to be set for June the 1st at 8:30 a.m. in courtroom 201. You may return with the deputy. After Mr. Harvey is Walter Kingstrom. And you're Jamel Harvey.
Yes, ma'am.
Sir, do you know what you're charged with?
No, ma'am.
All right, it is said that on March the 17th, that you did intentionally strike Brittany Harvey in the face with a closed fist, causing a very noticeable golf-sized knot on her forehead above the left eye. Says you also grabbed her by the hair, throwing her onto the ground, causing several superficial cuts to her left arm. For that, you are charged with family violence battery. And then it's also said on that same day you did commit that offense of family violence battery in the presence of Alexis Bostic, Harvey King, Jamel Harvey Jr., Ayanna Harvey, Bridget Lewis, and Princess Lewis, to which you are charged with cruelty to children in the 3rd degree. Your bond is $8,500. You're ordered to stay away from Brittany Harvey, Alexis Bostic, King Harvey, Jamel Harvey Jr., Ayanna Harvey, Princess Lewis, not to return to 2265 Mount Zion Parkway in Morrow, Georgia. If you have any of your belongings at that address, you are to make arrangements with the sheriff to pick it up, and you're not to violate any laws if you post bond. Do you think you'll be able to post bond?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
And do you waive your preliminary hearing or would you like to have it?
I like to
You'd like to?
have
I
it.
didn't,
I like to have it.
okay, that's going to be set for June the 1st, 8:30 a.m. in courtroom 201.
I still can bond out, right?
Yes, sir.
You gonna write, you need to write while she's talking.
All right, after Mr. Kingstro is Edward Leverett and you're Walter Kingstro.
Edward Leverett.
Do you know what you're charged with, sir?
Yeah. Yes.
The formal reading of your charges?
Yes.
All right, you're charged with aggravated assault and simple battery. Your bond is $14,000. You're ordered to stay away from Shell, not to return to 334 Poplar Drive in College Park, Georgia, Clayton County. If you have any of your belongings at that, you are to make arrangements with the sheriff to pick it up. And you're not to violate any laws if you post bond. Do you think you'll be able to post bond?
I don't have any money, ma'am, and
Sir, it's just a yes or no.
All right, your court date is going to be set for May the 26th at 8 a.m. in courtroom 203. You may return with the deputy.
when, ma'am?
May the 26th.
Can I say something?
No, come on.
Come on.
That's not a trial.
I just want to tell you.
Go ahead.
After Mr. Leverett is Charles Mack.
Charles Mack.
And
So,
you're Edward Leverett.
Yes.
Sir, do you know what you're charged with?
Not really.
All right, it is said that on April 7th, you did commit the offense of aggravated assault when you used a pit bull and handgun as a deadly weapon, which is when used offensively could cause serious bodily harm by pointing the pistol towards the victim, Michael Tran, which placed him in fear of his life and safety due to an argument over cable boxes. Says that you further committed the offense of false imprisonment by not allowing the victim to leave the home The victim was held at gunpoint and forced to continue to work under the threat of being shot and attacked by the pit bull that you had in your possession. So you are charged with aggravated assault and false imprisonment. The bond is $22,000. You're ordered away from Michael Tran, not to return to 228 Slicky Rock Court in Riverdale, Georgia. And you're not to violate any laws if you post bond. I didn't hear you, sir.
This is where I stay.
Mr. Tran doesn't stay there?
No, I stay there. It's my house.
He's never stayed there?
I stay there. He the cable man.
Oh, okay. All right, so I'll remove that. You do need to stay away from him, but I'll remove the condition that you can't return there.
Okay.
All right.
Come on,
All right.
Look at the bonds.
come on, sir.
She told you 22,000.
Oh, thanks.
Did he get his court date?
No, he never had the court date, George. He did not.
Okay, Mr. Leverett.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Leverett, can you post bond? Do you think you'll be able to post bond?
Yeah, we'll put the house up.
All right, your court date is set for May the 26th at 8 a.m. in courtroom 203. And you may return with the deputy.
He can write it over there, May 26th.
All right, after Mr. Mack is going to be Carrie McFadden. And you're Charles Mack. Are you Charles Mack?
Yes.
Do you know what you're charged with?
No.
Did he say no?
Yes, he said no, Judge.
It is said that on November the 24th of 2019, that you did intentionally assault and cause visible bodily harm to Daryl Anthony Cypress by punching him in the face with a closed fist. Says that you struck him in the face several times during physical altercation, leaving black and blue swelling bruises to the left eye. Says that you both lived at the incident location. For that, you're charged with family violence battery. It's further said on that day that you did wrap your hands around the victim's neck with pressure squeezing the victim's throat. You guys were in a physical altercation which led to the choking of the victim, and that there were visible red bruises to the lower neck of his person. For that, you're charged with aggravated assault by strangulation. And then you had a charge of kidnapping, which said that you knowingly and willfully abducted the victim, Daryl Cypress, from the incident location by dragging him inside a 2013 Volkswagen Passat without lawful authority or warrant. That you did hold the victim, Mr. Cypress, against his will, driving from the incident location in the victim's own vehicle. Says that you forced him into the vehicle after physically assaulting him. You're charged with kidnapping. You do not have a bond at this time. You're ordered to stay away from Daryl Cypress, not to return to 2204 Battle Creek Village in Jonesboro, Georgia. If you have any of your belongings at that address, you are to make arrangements with the sheriff to pick it up, and you're not to violate any laws if you post bond. In the future, your court date is set for May the 26th at 8 a.m. in courtroom 203. And you may return with the deputy.
Yeah, let's go.
Go ahead, move the phone. Hold on 1 second, she's coming back. She just lost she's coming back, she just lost Should be done. Sign on that.
You can just go and get him, she's doing something, you know?
Should sign back on. So let's sign up. Okay, she got it.
After Mr. McFadden is Michael Myers, and you are Carrie McFadden.
Yes, that's me.
Sir, do you know what you're charged with?
Yes, ma'am, I'll do.
All right, do you waive the formal reading of your charge?
Yes.
All right, you're charged with simple battery. The bond is $4,000. You're ordered to stay away from Edquisha, not to return to 1479 Sunnybrook Drive in Jonesboro, Georgia. If you have any of your belongings at that address, you ought to make arrangements with the sheriff to pick it up. Do you think you'll be able to post bond?
4,000.
Yes, ma'am. You know.
Yes, I should.
Do you waive your preliminary hearing, or would you like to have it?
I'll wait.
Stand by to sign your waiver.
Okay, now.
Go up there and sign your waiver.
After Mr. Myers is Kiari Muhammad, or Kari Muhammad. You're Michael Myers.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you know what you're charged with, sir?
No, ma'am.
It is said that on January 24th of this year, that you did damage the property of Destiny Barber without her consent when you punched her element flat screen television, cracking the screen, causing $63 in damages. You did this without the consent and without her consent, intentionally damaging the property that belonged to the Sheraton House apartments. You also kicked a hole in the bedroom door, dented a pantry door, and pulled the inside frame off of or breaking the lock mechanism. That totaled an estimate of $300. So you are accused of criminal trespassing. Your bond is $3,000. You're ordered to stay away from Destiny Barber, not to return to 1409 Rock Cut Road in Forest Park, Georgia. If you have any of your belongings at that address, you are to make arrangements with the sheriff to pick it up, and you're not to violate any laws if you post bond. Do you think you'll be able to?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you waive your preliminary hearing, or would you like to have it?
I'll wait.
All right, go to pen now.
Stand by to sign your waiver. After Mr. Muhammad is Dion Reed,
Yeah, Dion.
and you're Kari Muhammad.
Yes, ma'am.
You know what you're charged with, sir?
No, ma'am.
It is said that on April the 18th, you did operate a 2008 Mitsubishi Lancer GTS white in color.
Yes, please walk.
While doing so, you did conduct an improper lane change by driving in front of a Morrow Lieutenant Thrasher in his marked patrol vehicle, which was observed. The vehicle was driving erratically by changing lanes quickly, leaving little time for other drivers on the roadway to react. Once the officer got behind you, it said that you failed to maintain your lane by crossing the white dotted line on the passenger side of your vehicle. When the officer attempted to conduct a traffic stop on the vehicle, you conducted an illegal U-turn by crossing over the center yellow line, making a complete U-turn in the roadway. Said that you fled at a high rate of speed, initiating a pursuit. The pursuit led to Southern Road, where the vehicle met a dead end. You failed to obey the red traffic lights at the intersection. And you continue to make or failed to obey traffic control devices on Jonesboro Road and Marlboro, says that your speeding reached 140 miles per hour and above, and that you drove reckless roads. You're charged with 2 counts of improper lane change, fleeing from the police, felony, and red light violation. The bond is $7,000, and you're ordered not to violate any laws if you post bond. Do you think you'll be able to post bond?
Yes, no, maybe.
Your court date is set for May the 26th at 8 a.m. in courtroom 202. You may return with the deputy.
All right, let's go.
Yeah.
After Mr. Reed is Madingo Walker, and you're Dion Reed.
Yes.
All right, Mr. Reed, do you know what you're charged with?
No.
It is said that on April the 17th, you did kick in the bedroom door of Brandon Oden and packed the clothing of Mr. Oden and removed it from the apartment without permission of the victim. It's caused domestic disturbance and damage to the door of less than $500. You're charged with criminal trespassing. The bond is $3,500. You're ordered to stay away from Brandon Oden, not to return to 1400 or 1405 Flat Shoals Road in Clayton County, Georgia. If you have any of your belongings at that address, you are to make arrangements with the sheriff to pick it up, and you're not to violate any laws if you post bond. Do you think you'll be able to post bond?
Yes.
And do you waive your preliminary hearing, or would you like to have it?
No, wait.
All right, stand by to sign your waiver.
No, okay.
After Mr. Walker is Philip Weldman. Or Meningo Walker.
Yes, ma'am.
Sir, do you know what you're charged with?
2 obstruction charges and possession of marijuana on the ounces, I believe.
All right, do you waive the formal reading?
I really don't understand what the waiver thing means.
That's the whole name, huh?
No, I want to read it.
Oh, yeah, you don't have to, you don't have to.
Okay, you are charged with 2 counts of obstruction. We've dismissed one of the obstruction charges. That does not mean that the state will not bring it at a later date. So you have 1 count of obstruction remaining in possession of marijuana less than an ounce. Total bond is $3,000, and you're ordered to violate any laws if you post bond. Do you think you'll be able to post bond?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you waive your preliminary hearing, or would you like to have it?
We can waive it.
Stand by to sign your waiver. And after Mr. Wedman is Terrence Williams.
Yes.
Mr. Wedman, do you know what you're charged with?
No, ma'am.
It is said that on April the 17th, you made physical contact with the victim, Melissa Brooks, in an insulting and provoking nature following an argument. A passerby called 911 when he heard a female screaming for help and believed that the female was being raped. When contact was made, the victim was lying on her back and her pants were below her waist. Clothes were covered in dirt and debris and was out of breath. When contact was made, the victim's appearance and attire was consistent with the fight. The victim advised the argument and fight started because she was leaving from the vicinity of the offender. And it says that the offender and the victim have previously resided together in Clayton County. You're charged with simple battery. Your bond is $5,000. You're ordered to stay away from Melissa Brooks and not to violate any laws if you post bond. Do you think you'll be able to post bond?
No, ma'am.
And do you waive your preliminary hearing, or would you like to have it?
Is the preliminary where I tell them like things like she had a stay away order from me? Is that where I tell them?
You can speak with your attorney about it, and if that needs to be discussed or come out at any hearing after now, it'll be done at that point. I think.
Listen.
Oh,
Can't talk about
I didn't
something.
hear what you said. Say that again. You said
Talk.
Said that it can be discussed with your attorney, and your attorney can tell you the appropriate time for that information to come out.
Okay, is that where, I mean, then I don't know whether to waive my prelim or not, because I don't know.
Okay, so I'll give you a court date for June the 1st. That's your preliminary hearing date. After you speak with your attorney, if you decide that you want to waive, the attorney will notify the court. So that's going to be June the 1st at 8:30 a.m. in courtroom 201. And you may return with the deputy.
All right, thank you.
No, we don't last one? Yeah, that's the last one.
Terrence Williams, okay, Mr. Williams, do you know what you're charged with? Do you waive the formal reading of your charges?
No, ma'am.
It is said that on April the 17th, you did attack the mother of your children, Tina McGee, by causing bloody visible injuries to her face. Says that you attacked the victim while in the presence of your 2 minor juveniles. As the victim, Tina, entered her vehicle, the offender began kicking the truck and doors of the victim's vehicle. While the offender was attacking the victim, he caused their juvenile daughter, Tamia Williams, to be run over by the victim's vehicle as she was attempting to get away. It says that you both once lived together. There were multiple witnesses to this incident. You're charged with battery, criminal trespassing, cruelty to children, felony, 3rd degree, and disorderly conduct. Your bond is 22. Your order from Tina McGee and Tamia Williams.
Yeah.
Not to return to 6382 Old Dixie Road in Jonesboro, Georgia. You're not to violate any laws if you post bond. Do you think you'll be able to post bond?
Yeah.
Sir?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Your court date is set for May the 26th p.m. in courtroom 203.
Okay.
May return with the deputy.
How much the bond?
$22,000. Okay, who do you have there?
Kyrie Miller.
What was
All
your
right, Mr. Miller, your matter is being continued until tomorrow's to give the officer an opportunity to amend the warrant.
Okay, come on. Tomorrow, come back tomorrow, okay? You come back tomorrow.
All right, that's it. That's it. That's it, Judge.
Okay, thank you, guys. All right, have a good one. Thank
All
you.
right, Judge, just see you tomorrow.
Okay, Judge Fox is gonna do it tomorrow.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
I'll see you tomorrow.
Okay.
All right,
You
bye-bye.
coming back tomorrow?